The Governor-General making the short trip from Yarralumla to here in Parliament House to join with the Prime Minister, the opposition leader, senior politicians and members of Canberra's diplomatic community, because of course as the nation's capital this is where most of them have their diplomatic missions. And it wasn't just politicians and just Commonwealth nations that were here represented, and particularly Commonwealth nations that, for those familiar with Canberra and familiar with Parliament House, we've only got the UK High Commission, the Canadian High Commission and the New Zealand High Commission just down the hill from us here at Parliament House, but it was the broader world audience that was coming along to pay respect, pay tribute to the life of Queen Elizabeth. Some of the wreaths have just been having a look at the embassies of Guatemala, of Hungary, of China, all laying wreaths here to pay their respects to the late monarch. This was something of a formality that had been planned for some time because of its significance, not only being in here, the building that Queen Elizabeth opened more than 30 years ago, but this statue which she unveiled at the time by the sculptor John Downey. Worth pointing out that the wreaths from the Australian delegation, so the Governor-General, the Prime Minister, heavily featuring with Australian national flowers, particularly the wattle, and that we are told is harking back to one of the most famous portraits of Queen Elizabeth painted by the Australian artist Sir William Dargie. That is a portrait which is on display here in Parliament House and always draws a remarkable crowd. This event happened just a couple of hours after King Charles III made his first address to the British people and to the people of the Commonwealth and the broader world. And it's something that clearly resonated with Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. He made some brief remarks after the ceremony, just down in the Marble Hall, the main grand entrance of Parliament House, and he said that there were a couple of references there that really got to him about how the King was describing not only a monarch but also a mother.
It struck me in particular that his words where he said the affection, admiration and the respect she inspired became the hallmark of her reign. And that's why so many Australians have made moving tributes and are mourning this enormous loss.
That's the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese speaking earlier today. The opposition leader Peter Dutton was also at this ceremony, as I have mentioned, and he too picked up on some of what King Charles III had said in that speech, not only the tributes to his mother, but also the path, I guess you could say, that King Charles was setting out for his own time on the throne.
Also acknowledge, of course, King Charles III and the speech that he provided this morning, which I think was very much continuing in the same selfless spirit as his mother served and lived her life, and his dedication to the throne will mean an enormous amount, not just to the United Kingdom but to the Commonwealth countries.
And Matt, what else can we expect to see in the days ahead as a part of the nation's official commemorations?
Well, this evening in the United Kingdom we are of course seeing the proclamation of King Charles III as the new King of the United Kingdom. That will be somewhat echoed here in Canberra tomorrow. There is a meeting of the Federal Executive Council with the Governor-General. In simple terms, that is every minister and assistant minister of the government. They will sign off on the fact that King Charles is now the King of Australia, and the Governor-General will make a trip to here in Parliament House to officially proclaim that to the nation. There are still arrangements being made to get the Governor-General and the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese to London, not only to have an audience with the new King, but also, of course, attend the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II. And as you mentioned earlier, the image of Queen Elizabeth had been emblazoned on the Sydney Opera House, those iconic sails, a building that she also opened. She seems to have a track record opening important buildings here in Australia. There are preparations underway to replicate that in a way here at Parliament House as well, with the front facade of the building to be lit up over the next couple of nights.
Matthew Doran live from Parliament House in Canberra. Thank you.